Oh, I thought I might be able to show you, but I can't. It's too dark out there. It's utter carnage out there at the moment.
This is Intrepid Bear, a 40-foot sailboat off to explore the world with her crew Ian and Kate.
Come aboard and let's see what's out there.
So what is Montenegro like in the winter? In Montenegro, a lot of rain falls. It doesn't rain any more often than the UK, for example, but when it rains, it sure does rain. Turning streams into torrents and waterfalls. And particularly fascinating at this location called the Sopot Cave is how quickly things can change. You can see where the torrent comes out of the hills. We returned just a few days later to find a somewhat different scene. So we came here just the other day, and this, what you can see below us here where Kate is standing, was a raging torrent. It was only about a week ago, and then Kate would have been washed away down there. But we were amazed to see steps leading down into the torrent when we came here. But yeah, so it is now totally dry, and you can walk up into the cave. You know, I know things get flooded in the winter and what have you, but the difference between a few days, this is amazing. Apparently this cave behind us goes back quite a long way, but we haven't got any torches or anything with us today, and we're not cavers. But nonetheless, it is pretty impressive. Winter in Montenegro did depend on your perspective. Friends who have spent many years in the tropics said it was their worst winter ever, but we Brits who are used to fairly grim winters found that much of the time it was bright and dry and the outdoor cafe culture never fully stopped. It wasn't as warm as last year on the Algarve, but temperatures never dropped to zero at sea level, and the decks did not stay wet for weeks on end and go green as they did in the UK. It was also on a bright and glorious day that our windbreak, the Black Pearl, decided to finally leave Montenegro. We would miss her when the big north winds came. Before we continue with more of the Montenegrin winter weather, we're returning to the UK for a quick visit to family. We made a quick detour on the way to the airport. So we are in Dubrovnik, and we are just going up these huge flight of stairs to the top of the city walls. And it's a walled old city, and we can walk around the walls at the top. But it's quite a flight of stairs. So it looks like just a touristy place, but people do actually live here. There's like gardens just right down inside the walls. Washing out on the line. And then just over the other side of the wall is the Adriatic Sea. It's quite wow, really, isn't it?
Dubrovnik was an incredible place and deserves a lot more attention. We plan to make an extra episode covering it in more detail. But in the meantime, it was back to the UK for an early Christmas with family. Back in Porto Montenegro in December, and Christmas was in full swing as well. There were plenty of lights, events laid on by the marina, and Christmas Day itself was spent with great sailing friends.
Exciting. Wow.
Cheers. Cheers. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.
New Year's Eve 2022. We had no real plans other than perhaps hang out with some friends. There's about 20 of us now going over to their place for a party on their Utrima, coming to Marine today. So we're all dressed up. Ian's putting on his kilt.
I see.
We'll head over there and see what happens.
Some brave, or crazy souls, including Kate, welcomed in 2023 with a swim in the sea. I'd love to tell you that she took the cold water with calm dignity, but...
That was a swan getting hit by a stick.
My knives all over my body!
Yeah, it doesn't sound great, does it?
I heard you saying it was like knives all over your body.
It was, but I can't feel my body now.
That's kind of what I heard you saying. And I'm afraid we're not quite done with the bagpipes yet, as January brings Burns Night, which, with the help of friends smuggling in a haggis and hosting on a bigger boat than Intrepid Bear, we spread the Scottish tradition amongst friends from across the world.
To address the haggis, do you just say, hello haggis?
Right.
Hear my dressing.
Fair far, your honest soncy face. Great chieftain o' the pudding race. Captain her wally never blade. She'll mak it whistle. Legs, arms, and heels will sned like taps a thistle. Ladies and gentlemen, the haggis.
Haggis.
Socializing was a bit of a feature of winter 2022. You may recall that in Portugal last winter we lost weight and got fit. There was very little of that in Porto Montenegro due to the incredible winter community that we had this year. There was simply so much socializing. The marina put on events such as this cocktail making class. There were numerous birthdays, including Kate's. And there were the regular Wednesday evening get-togethers with curry and drinks organised amongst the cruisers from all nationalities. Back to the Montenegrin weather, and just 2 hours drive from the marina is the town of Kalashin with its mountain ski resort. We have never skied before, and this was our first ever visit to a proper snow-covered mountain, so there was plenty of snowy silliness as well as a snowmobile adventure.
So yeah, this is the chalet that you get from Porto Montenegro or Porto Montenegro Marina. Give you access to this chalet. It's pretty much, well, it is absolutely free. It's just part of your marina contract. Whole place to ourselves. And a really nice benefit actually. I mean, of course, it always costs you to come up to the mountains and skiing and eating out and all that sort of stuff. But to have the chalet as a perk of the marina berth, that's pretty good really. And this is our room. It's just basic, but it's warm and comfortable enough. You know, it's not 5-star by any stretch, but it's free and it's warm and comfy.
Clean.
And clean.
Most important thing.
Yes.
Spidey senses did not go off. Go, get me out of here.
This is the restaurant where we've had dinner the past 2 nights. Really cute in the snow. The whole place dead cute in the snow. When we first got here in the rain and the muddy water all over the street, it was not that nice and it looked a bit rough, but as soon as it snows, then it's picture postcard. And I imagine in the sunshine it's really nice as well, but most places are pretty rough in the rain. But yeah, initially we were like, oh dear, not going to get much snow, a little bit maybe up on the slope. And then it has just dumped all day today. And this is what we've got left.
But without doubt, the best discovery in the mountains was Montenegrin hot chocolate.
Is that literally the best hot chocolate ever?
Yeah.
Show me how thick it is. Oh, look at that chocolatey yumminess.
It's just hot liquid chocolate. Hot chocolate.
Loving it.
Now I know that we are a sailing channel and that you're waiting to see the winds that we teased at the start, but we visited so many stunning places during our time here, we want to share just a few more with you.
wind called the Bora, which is known to come down from the north through the mountains and blow 60 odd knots. We're forecast 50 tonight, so it's going to be quite a lively one potentially, but we'll see what actually happens.
Oh, I thought I might be able to show you, but I can't. It's too dark out there. It's utter carnage out there at the moment. The Bora's blowing. We've seen 55 knots. Others have seen 70 knots. Ian's been asked about helping other boats. There's a boat, several boats whose jibs have come unfurled and are ripping, smashing into the docks, and these dinghies falling off the back. Yeah, it's just, I'm worried about him, but also he's doing his bit to help other people, and the marina staff are rushing around. We're all right because we're being blown off. It's just very noisy, but it's yeah, I think it's probably the worst wind we've had in a marina. And the noise is just incredible when you're up there. I mean, and we're down below the wall, so actually it's a lot less windy here than when you go above the wall. So I don't know if we'll get around to filming now. I'm a bit scared, to be honest, to get off the boat because we're being blown off, and there's the passerelle between us and the dock. But yeah, the passerelle's getting blown on and off and away from the dock, and I don't want to take the risk of trying to get off the boat and then becoming a casualty myself. So unless Ian wants to take you for a walk later, which I doubt, because it's going to be pretty cold when he comes back after all that he's doing.
Unfortunately, it's very difficult to film in the dark, but in any event, I was too busy. Overnight, we recorded a maximum wind speed of close to 80 knots, and others in the marina clocked 100 knots. Gusts will vary even from one dock to another, but it's fair to say that it was an exceptionally windy night. Sleep was all but impossible as each gust sounded like a freight train passing by, shaking the boat to her very core.
A common feature of the Bura is that it will only blow for around 24 hours. On this occasion, it had already been blowing for over a day and showed no signs of abating in the morning.
An unusual feature of this storm for us was that it was in bright sunshine. Any winds of this magnitude in the UK would be accompanied by heavy cloud and torrential rain.
Holy crap!
This is calmer than last night.
Well, I think some of these gusts are still up in the 50s.
But yeah, we had what
But we had 78, 80 knots last night. Friends saw 99. It does vary very locally around the buildings, but Jesus, that spray across the marina there.
I think we're probably in the best place because you've got the wall, but further over here, the stronger the wind seems to be. It's devastation. It's awful.
Yeah.
Buildings blown around.
Crazy. So these conditions are extreme even for Montenegro. The Bora is a well-known wind, but this little hut here, this little hut has been blown away from where it was. It's actually moved. So the hut has actually been blown against this vehicle behind it. And that's the strength of the wind. That hut's been there for several years, and it's just so strong that it's picked it up, broken the cables and shifted it. Unbelievable. This flagpole's been taken down in the night with a huge piece of concrete on the base of it. Been flipped over by the wind. I mean, there's quite a lot of wind on the top of that, you know, the length of the pole, so it's not totally surprising, but it was windy.
Whilst out near the mega yacht Luminosity, Mother Nature really decided to show us her power. Look towards the bow of Luminosity as the spray is picked up by the huge gust.
What?
Totally bonkers. I said some more swearing. I was trying to be polite.
I thought you said that was terribly violent.
Well, yes, it was. It was also bonkers.
That was undoubtedly the strongest gust of the morning, and our friends clocked it at 80 knots on their nearby boat. Eventually, inevitably, the storm passed and tranquility returned. Spring started to show itself and it was time to prepare for the 2023 season. Thank you for watching and please join us again in a couple of weeks.